Yeah. Oh, let's move to the video. Yeah.
Okay. So good morning again. So this session is to explain you what we call transnational access. Basically, it's an opportunity for researchers to go to another laboratory, which to do some some research of their own project. And of course, behind all of this, there is the concept of research infrastructure, which means that these labs that are part of this network of research infrastructures have some special features, some special instrumentation or facilities that will help you to carry out your project. So I'll start with a small video and then I'll go through the explanations.
We cannot hear Adelino.
I'll start again. So it's always the same. Let's see if we can get the angle. There is a place where we should, well, maybe we shouldn't waste too much time. I forgot where you
when you share the presentation, you have to stop sharing your screen. When you share your screen, you have to include the sound. You have to press include sound. Sorry.
I'll try again. So, include sound is there on the. Okay, now we are back into the business. Okay.
With over 600 scientific.
I'll start from the beginning because we didn't hear. And
imagine accessing Europe's leading research facilities and instrumentation with funded travel, accommodation, and experimentation. All to advance research in sustainable aquaculture, fisheries, ecological restoration, or the blue economy. This is what AQUASERV offers you. With over 600 scientific services in 60 state-of-the-art research facilities across 16 European countries, AQUASERV provides funded access to research facilities, free access to biodiversity, food and fisheries databases, and training opportunities. This will allow you to address major societal challenges, upscale your research, and actively contribute to European policies. Take the opportunity. Researchers worldwide from academia, industry, and policy can apply. We are waiting for you.
What happened there? Being redirected somewhere else. Okay. So I will start by explaining the concept of research infrastructure because some of you may not have heard about it, and sometimes there's a bit of jargon that perhaps confuses a little bit. And so what is the definition is in this slide: a unique combination of facilities, equipment, resources, and services that enable the scientific community to conduct research and innovation. So this is how the European Commission defines research infrastructures. It can be physical entities such as laboratories, observatories, and large instruments, as well as virtual resources, for example, scientific data, archives, high-performance computing systems. So basically, the idea behind this is not everyone has the requirement, the resources to carry out their own research where they are. And they can actually improve very much what they do. Basically, they can have some ideas, but they're not being able to do it by going somewhere else and do it there. And so the European Commission provides funding for this. And AQUASERV is one of these instruments. In this case, it's very much directed at certain topics around the blue economy, ecology, marine ecology, etc., marine and freshwater. But basically the principle is the same. And I also will start by saying that you don't need to have a collaborator in these labs. What you need to do is to have your own ideas, and you are able to go there and do it on your own. Of course, if you don't have, for example, the expertise, and this expertise exists in the infrastructure, then you can, of course, collaborate. There is expertise, there are people that can help you, and so it's just to say that you can do it on your own. You don't have to basically find someone to be a collaborator. I think that's important, so that so that people know. Anyway, so next, go to the next slide. Okay. This is a bit more of the explanation. So what is AQUASERV? So AQUASERV is one of these projects, and it's an instrument to further scientific advance and promote, contribute, and facilitate the implementation of European policies. Of course, AQUASERV is a project. It also, when it applied for the funding from the European Commission, it applied in a call that has these restrictions. So we are very much sponsoring and facilitating research that somehow, directly or indirectly, can answer these questions. But it can be, of course, from more basic science to more applied science. So the total amount for the project is about around 14 million euros, but we have 8.5 million euros only for access, basically, for this mechanism that I'm going to describe today. And you can, using this mechanism, go to any of these countries that are in the map, 16 countries, and many within the countries there may be several labs. Sometimes there is one, sometimes there is more than one. So the other concept is, what is this transnational access? Well, as many of you know, in Europe, collaboration normally involves more than one country. And so the mechanism behind this is also basically to go to another country. So if you are from one country, you have to apply for another country. There are some exceptions. I'm not going to go in too much detail, but we are a group of European research infrastructures, and these so-called European research infrastructures receive funding from their own country, and so that people from that country can apply within the country. So but to avoid confusion, we just leave it at that. You can get further explanation later or some other time if you need it, if you are uncertain. But I can just say, for example, Portuguese researchers can apply within Portugal, Spanish within Spain, France within France, Italy within Italy, and Belgium within Belgium. But the details can be worked out at a later stage. So this transnational access, that I will call TA from now on, provides researchers, we call these researchers the users, with free access, free or almost free, depends what the project is. If it's a very expensive project, of course, we may not fund everything. So this can be on-site access. That means you go to another place and you stay there for a period, or it can be remote access. If you need some resources, for example, some organisms from the coast, they can be sent to you as well if they are available. And so that's called remote access. And so what we fund is the access itself. So the fact that you have to use these facilities, some materials, normally it's standard materials, and also the travel and accommodation. We fund up to 2 users, so 2 people come. Of course, more than 2 people could come in the same team, but we only fund 2 for a maximum of 3 months. Most of the time is less than that. It depends on the project, of course. And this is the website of the project, and then the sub page that explains where you can get information. But probably you are already acquainted with our web page. Now, there is another kind of access, which is called virtual access. And this is when you have to access to databases or basically something that is in a digital format. You don't have to leave your own computer. And so this also is, we have 3 institutes that offer virtual access related to fisheries, related to marine ecology, related to food technology. And you can find more information again on the website. So the way we are operating, so this project is for 5 years, and we have a continuously open call. That means you can apply any moment until December 2028. Of course, in addition to this permanently open call, we occasionally, more or less every 8 months, we also bring more focused calls. For now, for example, we have a focused call on aquaculture, and we call it challenge call because they are really aiming at these very specific European policies. And particularly, we accept some topics within aquaculture. And those are the topics that, from our research, may require more information to meet the policies. So the question is, who can apply? Well, basically almost everyone. So, for example, PhD students can apply, early career researchers in general, or basically any researcher of any age or seniority, and they can come both from academia and industry. So we aim both. Of course, we are particularly interested in industry because normally there is much less applications. So how do you do it? You basically submit a small project that is going to be carried out at one of these facilities in a country other than the one of the home institution, with the exceptions that I mentioned, where nationals can also apply. So why AQUASERV? Well, because as it was mentioned before, there are quite a variety of facilities, instrumentation, expertise, resources, and you probably can find here, the mechanisms that allows you to do the research that you are interested in. I mean, it's a very good mechanism. For example, if you have a good idea, you want to say, well, is this going to work or not? Because you have in mind, for example, to apply for a bigger project, or otherwise you already have your project, but you don't have the instruments to do it. And so one way or the other, we are offering solutions. So this is again the map. I'll just move on. What kind of projects? Well, as I was just mentioning, quite a variety of projects. It could be consolidation projects, new ideas, etc. But they should cover this broad area that includes sustainable aquaculture, fisheries, ecological restoration, blue economy, etc., marine freshwater ecology, food security, biotechnology, etc. So it's very much, it's quite wide, and it basically covers, let's say, aquatic biology, aquatic ecology as well. I just mentioned that we had 2 types of calls: the permanent call and the challenge-driven calls. So although it's permanently open, we take, let's say, the decisions on the approval 3 times a year, so every 4 months or so, in March, July, and November. Of course, this is just a practical thing to do with, getting the reviewers and to make sure that the projects are evaluated scientifically and that they are, good projects. We don't just fund every project, but the success rate is well above 50% until now, so the chances are pretty good. Excellence is the primary criteria for awarding the projects. In the case of companies, we have slightly different criteria, because what you are interested in is that whatever they're going to do, it is relevant for the development of the company. So it's a slightly different criteria. And then we have the challenge-driven calls that I mentioned before. About every 8 months or so, we have a different call. So now we have the aquaculture call. How does this? What's the flow? The flow chart is represented here. So the call is permanently open, or otherwise there is a challenge call, and then we have it will be evaluated, etc., until approval. So first, we have to prepare your application. We have on the website a service catalog. We have also a handbook with lots of details and information about all the infrastructures and everything. And in each facility, in each infrastructure, we have one person that we call the access manager, and that person will provide, will interact with the applicant to make sure that the proposal that is submitted fits. Basically, you may not be sure about what is available, or although we try to provide as much information, or if there is any particular detail that you require, you just contact this person, and I'll explain this a bit later. And then you get this information before you submit your proposal. Then there is a process of scientific review, and this is done by at least 2 reviewers. And then there is a panel. Our executive committee, together with our advisory board, look at the different scores by the reviewers and comments, and take a final decision on the projects that are accepted. And then it's the time for the users to go into first into an agreement, like a contract, a small contract with the hosting institution, and then you do the access. For us, it's very important that data is open. This is a condition by the European Commission in general. And so these aspects related to data management and open publications is also very important. We normally require that the user, when they go to this host institution, give us a small seminar about what they are doing, or at least in general, doesn't have to be specifically that project. And then at the end, there is a reporting that has to be done. It's not complex, but it's necessary, and it's important also to provide the feedback. So first step, you have to make sure that your project is eligible. As I mentioned before, there's a variety of people that can apply, so this is not a big issue. All the details are in the handbook. You should consult, of course, the service catalog, where you can find exactly what you need. And on the basis of that, you also know where it is, and you also know who to contact to get further information. So this is what our web page looks like, and where you have funded access. That's where we have the information about international access, and the service catalog is there pointing out, so you can just go and consult. and you get something like this, where you can filter by country, by expertise, by the infrastructure, etc. So you can play around and look around and see what you can find that is useful for yourself. You can contact the access manager, as I mentioned. It is important that it's done before you actually write the full application. These applications are fairly simple, 2 or 3 pages at most, and plus the CV and a few details. But it's important, the access manager, because they really can help you in the way you write, and also make sure that you have what you need. So, for example, this is on the web page, an example of the contact. The access manager is here, and you've got the email, and you can just contact that person. Now, when submitting the applications, we have a platform called ARIA. So you should register into ARIA first. There is the web page of ARIA. And in ARIA, you also get a lot of information, particularly the catalog. We also have on our website an application form template, so that before you go into ARIA and try to fill in, you know already what you have to do, so you can prepare your proposal offline, and then you just go there and paste it and submit it. Now we have our access officer of the project, so the person that deals with all the TA related aspects, and that's Stella Alexandrov. She's online, and she'll step in at the end after my presentation if needed. I'm sure some people will have a question and she can answer. And so any more general questions related to the applications and process, you can ask Stella. So this is what it looks like on the ARIA. You log in, you register, log in, and then you follow the steps. After you submit your proposal, you have to wait normally maybe 3 to 4 months. It depends how fast our reviewers do the job, but no more than 4 months normally. And so the first step is to check that everything is okay with your proposal, and then it goes out for the reviewers. And as I mentioned, our executive committee then takes a decision on what proposals are approved. Then, after it's being accepted, there is a legal aspect to take into consideration. So there's an hosting agreement, which basically indicates all the obligations, what's involved in the process. At this stage, for example, if you got some comments from the reviewers indicating that you can improve your project by doing this, you can adjust your project and to make sure that you get the most out of it. And as I mentioned before, for us it's very important, the open science aspect, and so this is an issue that has to be contemplated during the project. And I think that's it from my side. You just have to really go and apply. Go for it. Thank you. I'm going to get this out of the way, share, so that you can start asking questions. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, Annalisa.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much. That was really informative. So I just have a question just on the aquaculture, the open call until I think the deadline is the 31st of March.
Yep.
So we have one company that is essentially working on a prototype to help tackle sea lice in salmon farming. And we would like to help them apply for the open call, and we have been in contact with some of the facilities that do that. Our only issue is IP protection. Does everything have to be open access, or can some stuff be kind of protected?
Yeah. Good point. That's a good point. I should have mentioned that. of course, as I mentioned, as I already mentioned, is that with the companies we have a slightly, different way of dealing. Of course, in the hosting agreement, there is a section on IP protection, and so when I started, I said this is your project, and so in principle, the IP is for the company, unless the company requires some special, advice or whatever, where this may be worth also of sharing the IP. But of course, IP usually is negotiated between the parties involved. And so if you go there with your own project, and the only thing that the host provides is the facilities and the conditions for you to work, it's your IP. There's no reason why the host should get any benefit in terms of IP. Okay, so in the end, it depends really what is the contribution of the host, whether it is relevant or not. But otherwise, there's no requirements for, so the company, the IP rests with the company.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's
the principle.
Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. And we have a call with them on Monday anyway, so I can discuss that with the access manager. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Turka.
Hello.
Yeah.
I am Türker from Turkey. Thank you very much, Delino, and that was nice speak and presentation. I have two questions. One of them was already asked by Anna, but I am working at the university, so I'm planning to go some other institute, already contact, but I was asking if any patent application will occur, but you already answered. I guess it's similar with the company. Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah. It all depends on first contribution, second on the agreement that is done between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also the ethical ethical permission, I can say, that we should definitely need if we work on the fish. This ethical is this permission we will apply to AQUASERV or the institute that we go, or the access manager will arrange it, or how it is going.
So so it is the host that has to organize the permissions. Basically, although we have European directive and legislation should be fairly similar between countries, the way they deal with the ethical issues, the experimentation ethical issues, is a bit different. And so I cannot give you an answer exactly how each one will proceed, but it will be dealt with by the host, not by yourself. I mean, of course, you will be in touch with them, but it's the host that deals with that. So I can tell you, for example, that if you come to Portugal, we as the host will have to apply for the project ethical permission from a centralized government office, and then, but we deal with it. Of course, we deal in conversation with you and with the information about the project, but it's the host that deals with it.
And connect with this question. Do we need this permission before proposal application, or we can also get it after?
Oh, it's after. So during the proposal, you should highlight the ethical issues we have in our form, so that people are very much aware of it and take the steps that are required. But this is only to take the steps, let's say the permissions, it's only after it has been accepted. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time.
So it is what I understand that sometimes it can be complicated because when we write down the material method and we use that much fish, for example, for the sake of this project, we need 30 fish.
Yeah.
But the ethical commission say that 30 fish is too much, so make it 10. So we have to change the material method a little bit. It doesn't problem that much by the consortium.
No, as I said, you could fine-tune the project after it has been accepted. That's possible. Yeah, but exactly. I'm not going to develop much more. I work with fish, so I'm also very much aware of what you are saying.
Okay. Thank you very much. Clear enough.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody.
It's after. Okay, Tatiana.
Hello. First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. It was really interesting to learn that such opportunities do exist. I'm myself from the University of Utrecht, and we research nanobodies for Atlantic salmon sterility. So again, for biocontainment, and Aquaculture Call seems to be just spot on for what we are currently needing. IP is not an issue because we have applied for 2 patents. So unlike the previous users who were asking questions, so that's not a concern for us. But my question will be regarding the format of application. So where I am now is I'm almost finished with a PhD at the Utrecht University. So it's based on that PhD project that we got the patents. And now we are at a bit of a funding crossroads. So there's a possibility to carry on as a university spin-out or to carry on with the university in the academic environment. Myself personally, I just want to have more data and research the idea further. So this short-term project would be ideal for that. But what would your recommendation be to apply as a spin-out company or to apply from within the university as a representative of the institution? So that's question number 1. And question number 2, so during the PhD project, it was a big NWO, which is a Dutch research council funding body. So we already had an in vivo experiment at a facility that we have checked as a part of AQUASERV. So it's IMR in Norway, and I know really well how the facility works because I already ran some in vivo experiments in there. So is it possible to use the same facility, or do you encourage to get familiar with other facilities that are a part of your network? So 2 questions, whether it's better to be academia or industry, and second question, is it okay to use the facility that I'm already familiar with? Thank you.
So the answer to the first question is it doesn't really matter one or the other. If from the point of view of statistics of our own, if it's a company that applies, we can say we have more industry involved, but that's a detail that is not relevant for. You can choose the way it fits better with your objectives. One or the other is no issue. The second one, if the facility is part of the consortium, you can just use it. Which one you prefer?
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, that sounds very good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Nikki. Nikki Khan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Adelina. Thank you for that. So I had a couple of questions. So firstly, are there any restrictions on the citizens of the applicants?
No.
Okay, perfect. We're based in the UK, so in Scotland, but some of the people that we're interested in potentially sending might be from other countries.
Oh, we don't have any restrictions, and I don't want to complicate, but what we have restrictions with is with Russia and with some institutions that may be under sanctions. by the European Commission.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
But in fact, I can tell you that we never had to have this problem. So till now, it's not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, can applicants apply for multiple projects per application round, or are you restricted to one?
Applying for multiple projects makes sense as a follow-up, let's say. I mean, let's say that you came, let's say you apply now, you get some results, and maybe next year you think, okay, maybe I could do this or that. So there is some flexibility. So we have had the same applicant more than once. So they have had projects more than once in the past. So this is possible. We have a small deterrent because, of course, we give preference to new users.
Okay.
And so that means that then you get slightly less points when it comes to scoring, but it's not a massive difference, and this is a possibility. As I said, our main concern is quality, is the excellence of the applicant. There is also another thing that may not be applicable to you, but maybe applicable to others. It's also possible to apply to more than one facility at the same time in the same project. So, for example, someone needed to do some work on fish, let's say, and needed to do some metabolomics as part of their plan. But the facility where the fish is being raised does not have the equipment for metabolomics. So it may need then to go to another facility to the metabolomics, and this is possible. So you can also contemplate in the same application more than one facility.
Okay, great. And so then that would just
so you can think of a pipeline
application to
to more than one.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you wouldn't need separate applications. You would just do a single application and say that it's at two research.
It's one project where you may need to use more than one facility because not all the instrumentation or whatever is there. I think it's also important, at least in some cases, that the reason for people to apply for this is because they don't really have access to these facilities. I mean, if you have it in your own institution, what sense does it make to go to another place? So I think we also consider that aspect, of course.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Turker.
Thank you. That's a very good news. And happy to hear that. I would just wonder this visiting two infrastructure, both of them in total 3 months, or we can make it 3 months one place and another 3 months in another place. How it works?
Normally it's 3 months in total per project, but it all depends in the end on how the work is organized. Because, for example, the example I just gave, okay, you may need to spend more time raising the fish, but at the same time you could just send the samples to the other facility. So it's a mix of on-site access and remote access. So you could send the samples and get the results either by not getting there or just going there for a short period.
I see.
So so it's a matter, but the rule is that each project should be 3 months. Yeah,
I see. Okay, thank you.
It's 3 months is a limitation given by the EU, of course, partly because we're not talking about big amounts of money. So we want to reach as many people as possible. So we don't want to spend everything in one project.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Stella, do you want to say something I missed? Any advice?
Oh,
I mean, advice, I don't know where to even begin, but so far, I think that I have nothing to add to your answers. But I see there's another question.
Montserrat. Montserrat. Your microphone.
Thanks. Thanks very much. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My question is about the match of the time of the dates. My proposal is to start in April, but the decisions will be made in March, so it could be affect the decision of my application or something like that.
You can answer so. Yeah, no, it shouldn't apply. Shouldn't be a problem.
No, it's no
Thank you.
problem. And I've seen your application. It's under review now, and you're correct. It will be evaluated in March. The dates that you put in the application when you propose, they are helpful to the access managers to keep track of when people want to come. They're also helpful to me to see if maybe an application is very time sensitive. Is there a way we can put that in an early evaluation round if reviewers are available? So for those kind of things, it's good to have the dates. However, no one will hold you to those dates. If your application is selected for funding, then you will start preparing your project with the access manager, and there you will fine-tune the dates. And in most cases, the dates will change, and that is completely fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, no more questions. I would like to take this opportunity just to say the following. There are, like AQUASERV, there are other projects similar, in the way it functions, with maybe some differences, but covering other areas of science, including social sciences, etc., etc. So my, let's say, request, or at least suggestion, is that you spread the word to colleagues, and also in relation to AQUASERV, it's good if you can tell other colleagues of yours that this opportunity exists. We wanted to reach as far as possible and as many people as possible, so that they know that it exists. As you can imagine, it's a short. These projects are short-lived, and the communication is very important, and sometimes it's not easy to reach everyone. So word of mouth will help a lot in dissemination of this kind of opportunities. And you can always contact us, even if it's for other areas. You can contact us because we can provide information. There is a site, Reach Europe, RICH-Europe, where there is a list of active projects. So other colleagues may be interested in this. From all of these projects, 20% of the funding can also go to outside Europe. So it's an opportunity not just for Europeans, but also for everyone around the world. So if you have any questions, you can always come back to us. Otherwise, if there's no more questions now, we thank you very much for being here. And I'm sorry for the slight confusion with the timing, but well, it happens. So thank you very much.
If I may add, Adelino, in case you know a colleague that is interested in participating, we are having another info session on the 25th of February. It's on the website already if you wish to register. So we'll have 2 more info sessions before the deadline of this aquaculture call, although the call is always open and you're always welcome to apply. It never closes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.